Good Monday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather with Sim again. I hope you guys are all having a great day so far. And in today's weather forecast, we have a lot of things we got to talk about in this video because not only do we have severe weather, but we even have some flash flooding to talk about, and we'll even be going over the tropics at the end of today's video, which I know I haven't really been doing that, but that system is looking very concerning. We are very well afraid that it could develop into a hurricane, so that's the reason why I'm going to be showing you guys that in today's video. So make sure to like and subscribe down below if you haven't already, and of course if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you guys can leave those down below if you want to as well. But let's first go ahead and start off with what's happening today. And as you guys can see, we do have two slight risks for severe thunderstorms. One across the Dakotas heading into northern Nebraska, and then another one across portions there of southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and portions there of northern and central Kentucky will be at risk for some severe thunderstorms today. And as you guys can see, both areas do have a 2% risk for tornadoes. Both the slight risks up here and as well as down here. So both areas have at least a 2% risk of seeing tornadoes. And it actually doesn't just include the entire slight risk down here. It actually does include some of the marginal. So we could very well be seeing some tornadoes in the marginal risk, but we're mainly concerned about this yellow shaded color, and that's mainly driven off of a damaging wind threat. As you can see, we do have a 15% risk for damaging winds across that slight risk across portions there of southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and northern and central Kentucky. And then we got that other slight risk for severe weather up here, and we actually do have a hatched risk for damaging winds. So this black outlined area that you see, that indicates a chance for hurricanes force winds. That's 70-mile-per-hour winds or greater. So it's very, very dangerous to not secure objects out there if you live in the Dakotas, because we could really be seeing some wind gusts upwards of 70, maybe even as high as 80 miles per hour. Who knows? So make sure to prepare by securing your objects, like I said, and it will even be good to bring cars into your garage, because look at that, we also do have a hatched risk for large hail, which means 2-inch hail or greater is possible. We actually haven't had a hatched risk for large hail for quite a while. So again, if you do live across the Dakotas, be prepared for all hazards, but especially hurricane force winds and very large hail. And then if you live in the slight risk down here across the Ohio River, let's say, make sure to at least be securing some objects, as we could see 60, 70 mile per hour winds. Thankfully, no hatch risk down here, which that could change in the next outlook. And, also be aware about tornadoes, obviously, and of course, some potential large hail. Now, for tomorrow's threat, as you guys can see, for tomorrow, we do have a slight risk level 2 out of 5 threat across Iowa, heading into Illinois, and as well as northeast Missouri will be at risk for tomorrow, and that is kind of driven off of a tornado threat a little bit. It's more driven off of a damaging wind threat, but we do have a 2% risk for tornadoes for tomorrow across southern Minnesota, southern Wisconsin, almost all of Iowa, heading into northern Illinois. So if you do have any plans tomorrow, make sure to have that tornado action plan just in case. And same goes for today, which I did forget to point that out. If you live in any of the site risks for today as well, also make sure to have that tornado action plan in place just in case. And then, obviously secure objects before tomorrow, so that way you're ready. 60, 70 mile per hour winds will be possible. And then, of course, some large hail cannot be rolled out either. So something that we do need to be watching for for tomorrow. And then Wednesday is looking like a concerning day for almost some of the same areas, pretty much across southwest Minnesota, northwest Iowa, eastern South Dakota, and as well as a little bit of northeast Nebraska, and that is just indicating a 15% risk for severe weather. But that could very well change as we do get closer. There's no hazards with this one, by the way, yet, but we'll be able to see them as we do head into tomorrow. So that's at least indicates that there's a 15% chance of severe weather. So we'll likely see a 15% risk for damaging winds and large hail as we do head into tomorrow. Now, if we look at the flash flood threat, okay, this is for day one. As you guys can see for today, we do have a slight risk across the Ohio Valley, and then we also see that head as far down south as northwest Georgia. So if you do live in southern Illinois, southern Indiana, all of Kentucky, back into eastern Tennessee, and then even northwest Georgia, like I said, make sure to have ways to receive flood alerts, because if we do see enough storms around, that could very well cause some flash flooding. So slow moving thunderstorms or training thunderstorms will likely cause some flooding in some areas. So that's the reason why I do want you guys to have at least a few ways to receive flood alerts today. So make sure to do that. And then as we do head into tomorrow, that does shift off and actually kind of lines up with the Appalachian Mountains. So if you do live along the Appalachian Mountains region, heading from eastern Tennessee all the way up into central Pennsylvania, make sure to also have ways to receive flash flood alerts. And of course, those Appalachian Mountains does, cause mudslides, and that's because if you get enough buildup on water, then that can sometimes, release a lot of mud. So mudslides will be possible tomorrow because it's along mountains. We weren't concerned about it over here, even though you might think so, but that's more common across the mountains region. So be aware of mudslides as we do head into tomorrow. And then for day 3, which will be for Wednesday, we actually do have another slight risk for flash flooding heading from eastern South Dakota all the way down into northwest Indiana. So it's definitely going to be another area we do need to be watching, but that does remain a little bit uncertain. Finally, let's go ahead and take a look at the tropics, okay? Like I said, this is looking very concerning, okay? So, as you guys can see, this did upgrade, and this X color that you see right there indicates a 40 to 60% chance of developing in the next 7 days. This doesn't really have a high chance in the next 48 hours, but mainly in the next 7 days, and this could go anywhere, okay? And that's what I showed in my thumbnail. This could go anywhere. This could go up the East Coast, this could go towards Texas, or this could move towards the Gulf Coast and make a boomerang turn, kind of like what Beryl did, where he, moved it into land and then started making that turn like this, but instead it could do it over here. So it remains uncertain where this system will go, if it does, make it over into the Caribbean islands. So something that we do need to be watching for as we do head closer. So again, I would recommend making hurricane preparations along the East Coast, just in case these things want to drive up the East Coast, causing some flash flooding and gusty wind issues. But also, especially make hurricane preparation plans along the Gulf Coast states, especially Florida, but also these other states too, as well, as we could very well be seeing more than just, hurricanes this year. We could be seeing lots of tropical storms and depressions. So like I said, make sure to make hurricane preparation plans if you do live along the Gulf Coast, okay? I'm very serious about that, because we will likely see several hurricanes try to make it into the Gulf Coast, and then, like I said, they could very well make that boomerang turn. So it's going to be something that we do need to be keeping an eye on this season. Let's look at those water temperatures, okay? Like I said in the last few day videos, we are very well concerned about La Nina, but look how much those have dropped lately, okay? Those have dropped a lot. That is actually just shy of a La Nina. So I'm very surprised that those water temperatures have gone down like a rock. That is very, very, very hard water drop in temperatures. So that is definitely going to be, something that we do need to be keeping an eye on, is the potential for a La Nina, especially if it gets past the 0.5 line. As soon as you get past that, that's usually where it's considered a La Nina. So that's the reason why we are going to be watching this closely to to see if this will even get below that, which if it does, things will likely change dramatically in at least a month, because it usually takes a little bit for the change to happen as those water temperatures do go down. Let's go ahead and look at those sea surface temperatures, okay? Look how warm the Gulf of Mexico waters are, okay? This is going to really be a concern, especially with that wave that we saw. As of right now, it actually is over some warm waters, but as it does get closer, that is definitely going to be catching quite a bit of water, if why not warm waters, out over here towards the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico. So that could very well intensify either along the coast or intensify somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico, only if it chooses to make it. So we'll have to watch the system closely. We don't know if it's going to really develop into a hurricane or not. We don't know if it's going to go up the East Coast. We don't know if it's going to go to the Gulf Coast. Who knows? So that's why I also recommend making some hurricane preparations as of right now before things really start getting dangerous. But thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. Again, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, you guys can leave those down below. But I do really appreciate you guys liking and subscribing down below, because I actually did get up to 265 subscribers. A lot of people are very surprised about that. So if you guys will continue subscribing to my channel, that will be great. Also, don't forget to click that notification bell down below, because I might go live today, especially if things do upgrade, because that's actually something that I forgot to tell you guys, is that today's threat actually might upgrade to an enhanced risk. So if that does happen, I might go live today, so make sure to click that notification bell down below, but also don't forget to subscribe and like especially.